On behalf of the faculty, welcome to Honors Convocation. At this time, we ask that you all please rise, if you're able, for the singing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 100th Honors Convocation of the University of Michigan. I'm Lori McCauley, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thank you to Benjamin Powell and Daniel Weber, students in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, for that lovely rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Please join me in another round of applause. As we begin, I want to recognize an important part of our history, a land transfer from the indigenous people of this area. The University of Michigan is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people. In 1817, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations made the largest single land transfer to the University of Michigan. This was offered ceremonially through the treaty at the foot of the rapids so that their children could be educated. Through these words of acknowledgement, their contemporary and ancestral ties to the land and their contributions to the university are renewed and reaffirmed. We're gathered today to celebrate the academic achievements of students on all three campuses of the university. We are also honoring faculty members whose dedication to undergraduate education is monumental. Our university's legendary reputation is built on the achievement of students and faculty like those we recognize today. They are truly exemplars of the Michigan tradition. The Honors Convocation is held each year in mid-March. This always coincides with the beginning of spring and lends a tremendous energy to the festivities. We see life and color return to the sky and landscape, but we're close enough to winter, like today, to remember its chill. And so we acknowledge the long, often difficult road of academic effort that has led to the flourishing success of those in attendance today. And it is with this joy that we imagine what accomplishments, inventions, and adventures that lie ahead. We are pleased that Regent Paul W. Brown, Chair of the University's Board of Regents, has joined us today. The platform party also includes academic leaders from the Flint, Dearborn, and Ann Arbor campuses, executive officers of the university, and deans of the schools and colleges whose students we honor today. The Provost Council on Student Honors has selected Sarah Kreitman to be this year's student speaker. Sarah is a senior in the College of Engineering and also in the Stephen M. Ross School of Business. She is a 9-term James B. Angel Scholar within both schools. This means she achieved an A record for 9 consecutive terms in both her engineering and her business coursework. Sarah supplemented her studies with several hands-on learning opportunities. She served as a heat transfer engineering research assistant, designing experiments to assess the material properties of wet mineral wool insulation. She also worked as a public health research assistant, conducting mental illness cost analyses. She interned at General Motors, Texas Instruments, and General Mills, and as a volunteer taught virtual science lessons to children with special needs during the pandemic. Sarah plans to graduate in May and join McKinsey & Company in Chicago as a product development and procurement fellow. Sarah.
Thank you, Provost McCauley, for your introduction. 100 years of excellence. 100 years of creating, nurturing, and celebrating the leaders and best. 100 years of gathering to praise the academic accomplishments of our students. Like the students at the 99 Honors Convocation before you, each of you has made a name for yourself amongst the leaders and best, which is no easy feat. We can all relate to the sacrificed time with friends and the late nights in the upper floors of the Ugly, where even dropping your pencil could be considered too loud. And I know none of you are a stranger to the nerves before exams and the utter fear when Canvas says that a grade has been published. I personally would jump around and scream every time we touch to get out my nervous energy. Regardless, these obstacles were key milestones on the path to be invited here today. You should feel incredibly proud of your accomplishments. These accomplishments exemplify the academic, athletic, and artistic excellence that the University of Michigan has sought to achieve over the past 100 years. However, recent events have revealed a need for additional forms of excellence from our students. In the next 100 years, we need the courage to support others, even those entirely different from ourselves, and the morals to recognize the right and the wrong around us. This past decade, our differences have separated us, and 6-foot barriers have isolated us even further. The resulting divides have caused feelings of fear, sadness, mistrust, closed-mindedness, hatred, and disrespect. This decade has also revealed how little we know of the struggles of others or how little they know of ours. As the leaders and best, each of us has a responsibility to add on to our definition of excellence. It's no longer enough to simply excel in the classroom, in the studio, or on the field. In fact, some of the most needed forms of excellence in our society cannot be defined by a letter grade or a game score, not even a score of 45-23 against Ohio State. These forms of excellence could be found by standing up against a degrading comment, by inspiring hope in friends who are struggling, by trying to understand someone else's opinion, and more. The world we're inheriting has shifted from that of 100 years ago. Intelligence and achievement are still just as important, but we now recognize the importance of compassion, inclusivity, and respect much more. I'm giving this speech today because of my dad, who modeled for me what it means to be a truly admirable person. He always thought that money and exam grades weren't what truly mattered, while honesty, self-awareness, and your relationships were far more important. He strove to help as many people as he could, and he taught me that to be truly great, you need to help others around you to do the same. Our world needs more people like my dad, people who push the limits, who challenge those in the wrong, and who strive to turn the challenges that we're facing now into ones that will be unimaginable 100 years from now. By being invited here today, you each have proved that you have the intelligence and drive necessary to make that level of impact in this world. So, what will you do? There's no question that you'll do well in the world, but how will you do good in the world? Finally, I leave you with this thought. Each of us has succeeded in being above average in our classes, beating the curve, and earning A's. What would happen if each of us now set a goal to become above average at empathy? What would happen if the rest of the university were to try? What would happen if the whole world were to try? Let's find out. Thank you, and go Blue.
Thank you, Sarah, for your insightful remarks on today's Convocation theme. On this landmark centennial anniversary of Honors Convocation, we are obliged, as always, to look into the past and the future at once. This year, the theme is explicit: a decade of change, a century of excellence. In the best academic tradition, we have all been given an assignment today to ask ourselves in practical terms what excellence means at the university and in society at this moment. Crucially, we are to ask ourselves how we as individuals and as a community can embody excellence in thought and action. I'd like to offer you a hypothesis. The hypothesis is the more rapid the change during the era you live in, the more difficult it is to forge a life path that is ethical, impactful, and satisfying. In short, excellent. We in this room, especially those of us wearing the fancier academic regalia, have seen some things. Like human beings throughout history, we enjoyed periods of stability and navigated periods of rapid change. History is a sequence of technologies redefining the status quo. The last few decades have seen the pace of this increase significantly. Email was invented in 1971, but it wasn't a cultural presence until the 1990s. We didn't even start calling it email until 1993. But it only took a few short years before, and perhaps unfortunately, it became impossible to imagine professional life without email. The undergraduates here today have less time to make sense of emerging trends and technologies than any generation before them. Students today are presented with an incredibly sophisticated landscape of opportunities and risks. From your dorm room, you can access a science fiction sounding global economy unimaginable in previous generations. You can trade cryptocurrency, hire people, or work in the gig economy, create NFTs, and even cause a stock market crisis from your phone. But you undergraduates here today have something in common with the faculty. We are all now living at the same breakneck pace when the advances made in a decade feel like 50 years of progress. This produces a host of practical and ethical questions. It can be hard to define what excellence in an area looks like when I could simply write this entire honors convocation speech in something called ChatGPT. That didn't really happen. It can be hard to answer profound questions in an interconnected world when your own health and well-being feel precarious. We are grappling with wealth inequality, political polarization, and threats to democracy. We are also dealing with geopolitical conflict, the rise of everyday use of artificial intelligence, the threat of future pandemics, all of these set against the backdrop of a climate emergency. So you may ask, why am I mentioning all of this on a day of celebration? Because these challenges are inextricable from the timeless definition of excellence. You have proven yourselves academically excellent, socially nimble, and disciplined by attaining high honors at one of the leading universities in the world. You are students who, even during a pandemic, have proven you have what it takes to set the standard of excellence. You are excited by challenges. You are energized by hard problems. You have already found reservoirs of will you never knew lie inside of you when you first laid eyes on that shining, golden Block M. Your future will be no different. You will always do what Wolverines have always done. You will rise to meet our most pressing challenges head on. You will carry the excellence you have displayed in academics here into the broader world. This does not necessarily mean that you will find novel cures for diseases, solve global problems, or write a timeless piece of literature. Your excellence may be small in scope, but deep in impact. You may take up dentistry in a rural Michigan town or teach second grade. These callings are equally noble. It's important that even in times of duly grand ambition, you don't forget the power of local impact and action. It is said that courage does not belong to the fearless, but rather to those who are afraid and act anyway. I think there are times when excellence is as simple and as difficult, being kind when others are cruel. To be a voice of reason when passions are aflame. To speak for those who have not the means to speak for themselves. This is the deepest excellence, that of character. Today is a milestone in your record of academic achievement, but the work it took to get here is a milestone in the process of forging your character. And no matter what the pace of society, your character will never be obsolete. It will always be what makes you excellent. We could not be more proud of you. We are also so grateful to those of you here to witness and support our students. You may wonder how the students we honor today came to be here. To be invited to attend today's convocation by one's school, college, or campus, a student must attain university honors for both winter 2022 and fall 2022 terms. Seniors who earn university honors for either of these terms are also invited to attend honors convocation. The university honors recognition is awarded to students who earn a 3.5 grade point average during a term while taking a minimum of 14 credit hours, 12 of which are graded credits. I will now introduce the deans from the undergraduate schools and colleges in Ann Arbor. I ask that the dean and the university honors students from that school or college, please stand and be recognized. The order of introductions is the order of the founding of the schools and colleges. I'll start with Dean Ann Curzan and the University Honors students from the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. Interim Dean Jan Hu and the University Honors students from the School of Dentistry. Associate Dean Karen Ferris and the University Honors students from the College of Pharmacy. Associate Dean Luke Schaefer and the University Honors students from the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy. Dean Alec D. Gallimore and the University Honors students from the College of Engineering. On behalf of Dean Elizabeth Bermoji and the University Honors students from the Marsal Family School of Education. Associate Dean Catherine Shakespeare and the University Honors students from the Stephen M. Ross School of Business. Dean Jonathan T. Overpeck and the University Honors students from the School for Environment and Sustainability. Associate Dean Christy Ann Castro and the University Honors students from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Dean Jonathan Massey and the University Honors students from the A. Alfred Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning. Assistant Professor Aaron Cayley and the University Honors students from the School of Nursing. Assistant Dean Emily Hewitt and the University Honors students from the School of Public Health. Interim Dean Elizabeth Yackel and the University Honors students from the School of Information. On behalf of Dean Carlos Jackson and the University Honors students from the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design. Associate Dean Peter Bodery, and the University Honors students from the School of Kinesiology. Chancellor Deba Dutta, Chancellor of the Flint campus, and Mitchell Solenberger, Associate Provost for Undergraduate Programs and Integrative Learning of the Dearborn campus, will recognize and present the University Honors students from their campuses. Chancellor Dutta.
Thank you. Would the University Honors students from the U of M Flint campus please stand and be recognized? Let me begin by congratulating each of you on your achievements today. And while I'm at it, to all the students from Ann Arbor and Dearborn as well. Time and again, it has been said that the only constant in our lives is change. And it is hard to imagine a time in our society that has seen more of that constant than the days we live in. Striving for excellence during such periods is certainly a hallmark of character and courage. You all have shown that. Excellence isn't merely about achieving, it is about doing something beyond the ordinary. It is going beyond the norm and pushing past limitations, real or perceived, to devote oneself to ushering in progress. And you have done that. Excellence is about learning, knowledge, and growth so that as a member, or better yet, as a leader of one's community, you can assist both yourself and others to emerge as a strong and viable collective that serves the greater good. I'm sure you will do that. Someone who is excellent is a cornerstone of the community to which they belong. They nurture and empower their society and emanate hope. They inspire amidst challenges. They instill purpose. As you go forward, I am positive you will do that. Excellence is about the courage to take the road less traveled towards a brighter and more just society for all. Your dedication to excellence shows you have what it takes to be called leaders and best in the university and beyond. Do not let that commitment end today. Carry it confidently as you make your way in this world and positively impact your communities. Again, my sincere congratulations to each of you. Enjoy this well-deserved moment and go blue.
I call on the University Honors students from the Dearborn campus to please stand and be recognized. University of Michigan Dearborn students, today we formally recognize your impressive academic achievement. This recognition is well-earned and well-deserved. Through your many and varied accomplishments, you represent what a University of Michigan education is all about. Today, we also recognize the signature academic programs on our campus, in which so many of you partake. Our honors programs have played an important role in your intellectual development, and through your work and activities, enrich the intellectual climate of the Dearborn campus and beyond. To achieve your exemplary academic achievements while contributing to the common good on our campus and in our community is truly remarkable and most deserving of recognition. You do honor to the University of Michigan Dearborn. and I call on all members of this academic community to recognize, celebrate your outstanding work and many achievements. To all of today's honorees, I offer a hearty and heartfelt congratulations.
In addition to university honors, the university recognizes superior academic achievement with 2 other awards. The William J. Brandstrom Freshman Prize was created in 1960 by Mr. Brandstrom, attorney and philanthropist of Fremont, Michigan, whose desire was to promote excellence in education. Through his generous gift each year, the University of Michigan is able to recognize and encourage first-year students who obtain a high level of academic achievement during their first semester. First-year students who rank in the top 5% of the school or college in which they are enrolled and earned 14 credit hours or more are recognized as winners of the William J. Brandstrom Freshman Prize. Will first-year students designated as winners of the William J. Brandstrom Freshman Prize please stand and be recognized? Congratulations. And now I would like to introduce to you the James B. Angel Scholars in attendance. We award this honor, named for the university's 3rd president, to students with an all-A record for 2 or more consecutive terms in which they carry at least 14 credit hours per term, 12 of which are graded credits. I would first like to ask our 2-term Angel Scholars seated in the audience to please rise. Congratulations. Today, we are paying special tribute to those students who have completed 3 or more consecutive terms of all A's, and I invite all 3, 4, 5, and 6-term Angel Scholars to come forward and be greeted by President Ono and myself. You will be escorted to the stage by our faculty marshals.
Two more. Two more.
The last two. Okay, it is now our special privilege to recognize the Angel Scholars with us today who have sustained the highest level of academic achievement for 7 or more terms. These students are seated on the platform, and I ask them to come forward individually as their names are called. Tabby Chavis, our Vice Provost for Equity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer, will introduce these students.
Good afternoon. This first group of students has achieved 7 consecutive terms of all A's. Garrett Ashlock, Mira Bader, Ryan Berger, Mally Berglund, Margot Blau, Raina Bradeur, Antonio Bully, Bailey Burke, Megan Charla Kolu, Megan Coden, oops, I'm sorry. Elizabeth Cho, Josh Coulter, Samantha DeJarfus, Megan Duncan, Brady Failing, Henry Fleischman, Rashita Guthiti, Holly Gurnick, Evan Hall, Jinjin Han, Gretchen Heidebrink, Hannah Halzerman, Nathan Hirschberger, Paige Hodder, Boying Huang, Olivia Howard, Andrew Houston, Raymond Jang, Mark Johnson, Eileen Kelly, Christopher Kolb, Vishnavi Krishnan, Jason Landony, Alexandra Lifton, Jingyi Liu, Saad Malik, Sahitha Munda, Samia Munoncha, Matthew Marcus, Scott Murfogle, Win Tang Fat, Amelia O'Brien, Emma Osterreeder, Ethan Patrick, Sydney Peterson, Joel Pingle, Matthew Profke, Eli Rotman, Denise Schlotman, Claire Scheipel, Jin Ho Son, Rachel Song, Eleanor Tang, Christopher Tarachny, Elizabeth Tower, John Tompowski, Jose Luis Vargas de Mendonci, Ali Vogelheim, Emily Wagner, John Yu, congratulations. This next group of students have achieved 8 consecutive terms of all A's. Anwar Bisonneau, Benjamin Davis, Madison Hernandez, Kaltri Hoja, and our final students have achieved 9 consecutive terms of all A's. Starting with Caitlin Hoyne, Sophia Janovic, Sarah Kreitman, Leon Ma, and Juliana Marks. Congratulations to all of our students.
We are now very pleased to give special recognition to 2 students. Each has achieved great academic success and has coupled it with leadership and service that makes important contributions to society. The Churchill Scholarship supports American students for a year of master's study at the University of Cambridge. The program was set up at the request of Sir Winston Churchill to encourage US-UK scientific exchange with the goal of advancing science and technology on both sides of the Atlantic, helping to ensure our future prosperity and security. Now I invite Henry Fleischman, who is seated on the stage, to stand. Henry is is a mathematics and computer science senior who has been involved in a wide variety of notable activities and research during his time at U of M. DIMAC's NSF REU program, small NSF REU program, and REU and extremal graph theory and dynamical systems at the Rochester Institute of Technology. He was also a policy analyst for the Center for Local, State, and Urban Policy in the Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy, where he worked on shaping redistricting reform. He has 4 accepted research papers and has several others in various stages of submission. At Cambridge, he plans to pursue a Mass T in mathematics with a focus on combinatorics, algorithms, and complexity theory before going on to complete a PhD. Congratulations, Henry. As noted in your program, the university's Wallenberg Fellowship was established in 2013. It honors Raoul Wallenberg, one of our most distinguished graduates. Mr. Wallenberg brought intellectual acuity and great curiosity about the world to his studies in architecture. A native of Sweden, he was in that country's diplomatic service during World War II. Stationed in Budapest, he worked quietly and effectively to coordinate the rescue of thousands of Jews in Hungary by issuing protective passports and sheltering them in buildings he had designated as Swedish territory. The Wallenberg Fellowship provides a graduating senior with the opportunity to learn about and contribute to society through an independent project anywhere in the world. I would like to invite Meghana Tumala, this year's recipient of the fellowship, to stand at her seat on the stage. Meghana is a student in the A. Alfred Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning. After a study abroad trip to Mexico City in May last year, Meghana created an architectural diagram to document everything she had just witnessed. She spent last summer perfecting the drawing with lots of details to portray her observations about the city's climate predicament in the best way possible. She became highly invested in the challenges facing the communities she had visited and determined to help those communities find solutions. Now, as a recipient of the Wallenberg Fellowship, Meghana has the opportunity to return. After graduating in May and concluding her Peace Corps prep certification, she will travel to Mexico City, expand her knowledge of community-based design, and discover more about how architecture can play a role in addressing climate change. Congratulations, Meghana. We're proud to acknowledge the accomplishments of these students. In 1988, the Board of Regents established a series of professorships to recognize outstanding contributions to undergraduate education. Named after Arthur F. Thurnau, a student at Michigan from 1902 to 1904, this series of professorships is supported through a trust he left to the university. Mr. Thurnau wanted to return to the University of Michigan something of the value he gained from being an undergraduate here. In that spirit, the Thurnau Professorship Program is designed to honor tenured faculty whose commitment to and investment in undergraduate teaching has had a demonstrable impact on the intellectual development of our students. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2023 Thurnau professors. Stephen Barry, Associate Professor of American Culture in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. Gary W. Harper, Professor of Health Behavior and Health Education in the School of Public Health. Lisa H. Harris, Professor of Reproductive Health in the Medical School. Sally Uwe, Professor of Astronomy in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. One of our 2023 Thurnau professors could not be with us today, and we recognize him, Greg Dick, Professor of Earth and Environmental Sciences in the College of Literature, Science, and the Arts. Each spring, we invite a Thurnau professor to address students here at our Honors Convocation. This year, it is my pleasure to introduce Amy Ku'ulealoha Stillman. Dr. Stillman is a professor of American culture, a professor of musicology, and the director of our Native American Studies program. In 2008, she was named a Thurnau professor. Dr. Stillman also has the rarest of accolades. She's a two-time Grammy winner awardee for Best Hawaiian Album in 2008 and 2010. In addition, she's a world authority on the Native Hawaiian hula, a dance tradition that shares stories and expresses ties to the natural world through movement. A popular teacher, she draws a diversity of students to her classroom, from those majoring in the STEM disciplines to those in the arts and humanities. Together, they explore cultural performance and indigenous music. Dr. Stillman, we are delighted you will be addressing us today. Please come forward.
Good afternoon and aloha. You know, probably no one was more surprised than I when I learned last year that I was a recipient of a Thurnau professorship. I walk in the company of brilliant colleagues, and I do my best to keep my own little lantern lit. So I want to thank Provost Laurie McCauley for the graciousness of the introduction and for the privilege of speaking to you today as a Thurnau professor. I can really only speak to you from my own experience, and so I will use my perspectives in my remarks today. Living through the unprecedented lockdown brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic has changed me as a scholar, as a teacher, and as a person. I consider it my great fortune that the frameworks of Native American and Indigenous studies that I am privileged to teach have been my guiding stars, and I invite you onto a brief stroll with me under those stars. The disruptions of disconnection brought home the importance to all of us of the importance of connection in our lives. And to quote Joni Mitchell, and if you're going to sing with me, first two lines only. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? Zoom leveraged technology for us in ways that we could continue communicating with our students and with each other. But it did something more. With so much programming going online, suddenly I was able to sit at home and attend talks and conferences anywhere in the world. So many prior impossibilities became, during the pandemic, possibilities. Indeed, it seemed like nothing was out of reach. The opportunities afforded to us to reset and reconnect that applied to my personal life also sparked in my scholarly life and especially in my teaching practice. How could I facilitate my students reconnecting when the ground under their feet had shifted so completely? How could I guide students in rebuilding relationships that were interrupted so abruptly? This is when I turned to thinking about teaching as ceremony. Ceremonies and rituals are important in our lives. They are times for restating values, re-energizing relationships, and renewing commitments to live ethically. But ceremony is not a one-way street where we just sit, listen, and then walk out the doors and resume our daily lives. No. Ceremony requires recommitment and reciprocity. When values are restated, how do we respond? When relationships are re-energized, how do we respect and maintain them? And when we renew commitments, how do our actions substantiate our words? At the core of ceremony, conceptually speaking, are two timeless principles: relationship and responsibility. Relationship is not only something between people. It includes how we relate to the world that surrounds us and sustains us. And this includes acknowledging all the living beings that share our world and all of the forces that animate this world. As Native Americans say, all our relations. It also includes how we relate to all of our ways of being and knowing in the world. In the ceremony of teaching, I am privileged to guide my students in cultivating relationships with the knowledges that I hold. The act of teaching for me is one of reciprocity to those who have shared their knowledges with me, and to ensure that knowledge I hold will not end with me. I invite my students to reciprocate with their commitment to make my knowledges theirs and to take ownership of the knowledges of my disciplines. And this brings me to my final R word, responsibility. I am not a master of knowledge. I am a steward of knowledge. As a teacher, I am responsible for nurturing students toward insight and understanding as I guide them in becoming responsible for stewarding those knowledges onward. I owe my students nothing less than nurturing their knowledges in connection to all our relations in our shared world. Thank you, and go Blue.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send them tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Wow, thank you, Molly and Peter. I'm now pleased to present Santa J. Ono, the 15th President of the University of Michigan. President Ono.
Thank you very much, everyone. This has been a beautiful ceremony, and thank you for that introduction, Provost Macaulay. It's truly a pleasure, an honor, to be with all of you in this magnificent venue this afternoon. It's an incredibly important moment for you and for us as well. Our student speakers and musicians have been fantastic. Thanks to all of you. And I'd also like to thank our faculty and staff and the leadership team. It is so much more to your credit than mine that this exceptional university exists today. So let's hear it for the faculty and staff and students. As you may have noticed, a number of us are actually wearing this brass button. This is a historic moment that we are together here in the Hill Auditorium. This is the 100th year that our outstanding students have gathered in this great hall to be celebrated as Michigan's leaders and best. Honor students through your brilliance, grit, and resilience. You have lifted this institution. You have inspired the faculty here. You have soared as individuals. And you inspire us to come to work every day. So I'd like to ask all of us, all 3,300 of us, again, to join together in applauding your achievements and your excellence. Let's hear it for the students. Well, let's face it, there are thousands of people here and others watching by live stream. You students have not done it alone. Each of you has had a network of support, a community of encouragement and excellence, parents and professors, partners and mentors, families and friends. This day is to honor them as well. They were there when you took your very first step. So let's also give your family, your parents, a round of applause. We have come together not only to honor the outstanding achievements of so many of you, but to reflect on who we are as an institution, where we have been, and what we can aspire to become as the greatest public university in the world, right? The Greek philosopher Heraclitus declared that in life, the only constant is change. And certainly we have seen that over the past decade, over the past century, that has been true. Let me give you a few examples. Just 10 years ago, President Barack Obama had just been sworn into his second term as U.S. President. Mary Sue Coleman, a great friend of mine and president of this university for a dozen years, was president then. Just a decade ago, no one had heard of TikTok or ChatGPT. And the San Francisco 49ers were led by none other than the coach called Jim Harbaugh. Now, if you look back another 9 decades, when this honors ceremony began, the changes are far more profound. Calvin Coolidge was soon to become the 30th President of the United States of America. Marion Leroy Burton, after whom the Burton Tower that we love, just outside of Hill Auditorium, is named, was Michigan's 5th president. Our Marshall Family School of Education had recently appointed its very first dean, and the Ross School of Business, not called it Ross School of Business then, would do so, appointing its first dean in 1924. The personal computer and the internet were a long way away, and the exciting new technologies coming online were black and white television, the electric blender, and the handheld blow dryer. Technologies have changed quite a bit in 100 years. Platforms have changed, political leaders, coaches, and deans have changed. But the values of this great university have not. What we've talked about today, what you have exemplified, the fundamentals of excellence, achievement, and honor remain the same. It is the collective DNA that is the University of Michigan. I submit it is those values that we are celebrating today, embodied in each and every one of you. If we look at the definition of the word honor, we see it means much more than simply high achievement or excellence, much more than high esteem or praise. It also means respect, integrity. It also means service. Values that make our university great. Don't forget, it was on this 1913 podium that Martin Luther King, in 1962, practiced his I Have a Dream speech. Don't forget that it was outside the steps of the Michigan Union that John F. Kennedy Jr. talked about the creation of the Peace Corps. These are values that we're proud of. For there can be no honor, no lasting achievement without integrity. Integrity is and must be at the bedrock, the cornerstone of every great university. Integrity infuses all that we do at this institution. It catalyzes trust, strengthens relationships, and opens new perspectives and understandings of the world before us. Integrity lies at the heart of the scientific method, whether it's biology or physics, astronomy or mathematics. Truth in method, openness in sharing data, reproducibility of our results. That stands at the core of true knowledge. Integrity also lies at the heart of the classroom, exemplified by the professors we have just honored. Through their careers and through what they teach you, honesty takes effort. Togetherness in teamwork, and honor, as you have shown during your years here, is the highest achievement a scholar can actually achieve. Your integrity may also be difficult and challenging at times. For there often seems to be an easier way, a shortcut, a white lie, a slightly soft step to meet a requirement or a deadline, perhaps even a temptation to try ChatGPT. But you cheat yourself if you don't put in your work. You don't develop into a scholar, and you don't develop into someone who thinks critically and can be original and innovative and creative if you rely upon others or upon technology only. That's why integrity is such essential duty for each and every one of us. It should be part of what it means to be a member of the University of Michigan community of scholars. As honor students, you have been and you must continue to be leaders, not only in academic achievement, but in service and also through integrity in every act that you make or take, large and small. Because as you advance in your careers, people will watch you. People will want to follow you. You will teach others as your professors have taught you. Bring with you what they have taught you. And as university citizens, we all play a critical role in fostering, sustaining, and strengthening that ethos of honor and integrity. A culture of integrity is tantamount to a culture of respect, and truly, the two strengthen one another in our pursuit of achievement and excellence. Respect is one of our core values at the University of Michigan. So we will act in ways that acknowledge the humanity and contributions of each individual. But even more, we'll treat each individual with deep respect and high dignity. We will walk with others in humility, eager to celebrate the exceptional person they are, each and every one of them, the gifts they can offer to our community and to the world. And we will elevate the distinct, ineffable potential of each person, no matter where they come from, no matter what they believe, no matter what their background is, their color or creed. This is why we have placed, as an institution, such an emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion, because together we can be even greater. It is the path to achievement. It is a way to excellence. Finally, if we truly respect others, we will honor them through service. This is our ethos at the University of Michigan, to excel, to lead, and to serve. Our philosophy of leadership is grounded in something called servant leadership, which was developed by Robert K. Greenleaf in 1964 and refined by many others over the decades. Servant leaders focus on the growth and well-being of others around them, especially those who are the most needy. They aspire to build small communities and lead by influence, not by power or position. They start from a position of humility and respect, and they strive to listen and serve with compassion and empathy. As Greenleaf observed, servant leadership certainly doesn't mean that you don't have to make tough decisions or assert yourself on occasion. But when you approach people from a foundation of mutual respect, no one is left feeling disempowered or dehumanized, and no one should feel that way. There really is no secret formula for servant leadership, but there are some important principles to keep in your back pocket. Always remember that you have to listen first. Listen well and listen often, even if what you hear isn't consistent with what you might at first believe. And take the time to reflect on what you've heard and to learn from others, because with that you will widen your horizons and you will help to build community, because when people are listened to, they feel respected. That's truly what we as an institution aspire to as a great institution. And it's by living out those values every minute of the day, every 525,600 minutes. It's by living out those values that we will address the greatest challenges of our time. Let's face it, we have come through much over this past decade. And over the past century, our campuses have changed in astonishing ways. But over the past 100 years, and you are a bookmark to that century, our values, our aspirations, and our honor reverberates and remains. And a decade or even a century from now, when Michigan's brightest again gather in this glorious whole, and today's shiny new technologies seem archaic and quaint, let's hope that the values that you embody, that you take with you from this day forward, that we've discussed and we hold so true to our identity, will still hold essential and true. So students, you and us together on the stage, let us go forth together in leadership and in service, grounded in integrity and excellence, in mutual respect, achievement, and yes, as you have been called, in honor. Thanks to you. Congratulations, and go blue!
Thank you, President Ono, for those energizing and inspiring remarks. As we close the formal program today, it is my pleasure to invite all of you to join our honorees for an outdoor reception on Inglis Mall. Yes, we are all Michiganders. It's in between the Hill Auditorium and the Michigan League. Commemorative tack pins are available for the scholars we are honoring today. For those who have not already received a pin, they will be distributed at the reception following the ceremony. Thank you for being present to share in this important occasion. It is wonderful to come together to recognize the accomplishments of our students in every field of inquiry and to honor their teachers. We salute all of their achievements. I want to give special thanks to the students and faculty from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance for their outstanding performances. The trombone ensemble, directed by Professor David Jackson, Assistant Professor Nicole Keller, University organist, Associate Professor Tiffany Ng, Carolinist, Benjamin Powell, soloist, Molly Schwall, soloist, Peter Smith, pianist, and Daniel Weber, pianist. Please join me in showing our appreciation. We ask that the audience remain at their seats until the recessional march of the platform party has been completed. Please stand as you are able and sing with us as we close with the university's alma mater, the yellow and blue. You'll find the words printed in the back of your program.